What is going on, Bulls Nation? So, Ayo Dosunmu finally signed a contract with the Bulls. So, what does it mean? And is it a good signing? Let's talk about it right after this.
Get the lowdown on one of the most iconic basketball teams in the world. You're listening to Chicago Bulls Nation.
All right, Bulls Nation. So, a lot of people were surprised or shocked that Ayo hasn't signed or declined the qualifying offer yet by the Bulls. I think it's like 5.3 million. It's the right way. You gotta offer a qualifying because you can retract it anytime. And Ayo is a young guy, but now that he signed, this is the Bulls fan right here. They're mad at the number because it's 3 years, 21 million. So it's averaging about 7 million a year. We don't know how the contract is breakdown. It could be increasing. That's what I would do if I was the Bulls because they still have technically 2 contracts left with Carlik Jones, but the magic number is like 1 point something million because that's the only number before the Bulls can go to the luxury tax, which we know how prudent they are. The Reinsdorf is not gonna go to the luxury tax bracket. They've went in once, and we're one of the most profitable team. Looking at it right now, I mean, if you are the owner, is this team like, let's say that is my money, are we gonna be so much closer to the championship that you would make me spend luxury tax? The only notable additions that we do have is Jevon Carter and Torrey Craig, that's a stretch if you're calling it notable additions. Now, I personally believe the Bulls are still cooking something. I still think so. With applying that 10 million, I think they are keeping their options open. Maybe they're not set into making a move yet, but I think they will. With that being said, let's talk about Ayo because that is not confirmed. So with Ayo Dosunmu, what are you getting? A very young, big point guard or a shooting guard, however you want to look at him, who has potential. I wouldn't say he's a blue chipper. He's a second round pick who showed flashes, especially in his rookie year. Hit a sophomore slump, and now is making 7 million a year. Now 7 million is not bad in the context of basketball, right? Like as far as numbers is concerned. We see Bruce Brown making like 30 million right now, something like that. So 7 mil, I'm not saying by any stretch he's Bruce Brown, but also 7 mil nowadays is a really favorable deal. Could it be lower? Of course, because you always want to get a little bit of that million, put it somewhere else. Let's say a Kelly Oubre, maybe he will take 5, you don't know, and maybe that mil is going to be the difference here and there. Now we still do have our mid-level exception, which is 6 million, and we do have the disabled player for around 10, but we're hard capped at 172. And even if the front office says, hey, you know what, let's go into tax, I think you can only use up to 7 mil out of those 2 exceptions, unless the Bulls makes a trade which would dump out more salaries, and then they could sign free agents or trade for an expiring contract soon. I still think they're gonna do that, but we'll see. Now with Ayo, am I upset about the signing? No, I actually want Ayo back. I'm not gonna give up on his potential. He's from Chicago. The kid works hard. He gotta improve in his shooting and his playmaking skills. If he does that, this contract is gonna look like a massive bargain in 3 years. I hope there's no player option here, because AK wants to give those. Now, you can make an argument that no one was bidding over Ayo, and that is true. We're bidding amongst ourselves. Now, here's the difference. We got Torrey Craig for minimum. You can't you could, I suppose, get Ayo for minimum, but do you really want a disgruntled player because you gave him basically a demotion? With such a young age, he's gonna remember that. And what if his game progresses and now he wants out, or he wants to trade out because you didn't value him as much? It's different when he's coming from a different, I guess, team, because now he doesn't have that relationship with you. But now if he's on your team and then you lowballed him in a sense, that would create some stir and some drama and controversy. So you don't really want to do that for a few millions. Sure, why not? Like, let's just gamble on it. The player that you're gonna get, that veteran player for the last spot, who's gonna command that million, whatever. I think I'd value, let's say Rudy Gay. I'd value Ayo more than Rudy Gay if you give him more money. I'd rather give that to Ayo, to be quite honest with you. Now, the question here is that Ayo is a guard, and we just got Javon Carter. So we have so many guards in our lineup, but no one is a definitive guard. We don't know if Ayo's a starter. We don't know if he's a bench player. We don't know if he's six-man. It could be anything. So maybe that's why they signed him. But as it is, we need a power forward. And I was hoping that would be Christian Wood, and it still could be Christian Wood, because we still have that 10 million or nonetheless that mid-level exception. I'm still hoping for him and maybe Kelly Oubre, but we'll see. We'll see if the Bulls can maneuver some things, get some salary out, give those money to those guys. We shall see. We just don't have any salary that would offset those, but I don't know. I still have a little bit of confidence with our front office that they could maneuver something out. But I like that Ayo stayed. I don't know how much of an impact he would do with the team with so many guards. Let's say Kobe would start. And I believe Kobe should start. He's making more. He showed better progress within the last year. So let's say he's starting point guard. And Zach undoubtedly is our starting shooting guard. Where would, you can't give Alex Caruso just a few minutes. So is he going to be number 3? So Javon would be number 1, and then Ayo would be number 2 for the most part. I don't know. The lineup should be interesting. We'll see. I'm interested to see where this would take us. But overall, I'm happy that Ayo's around. Do I want it? Because he's young. He's one of our young prospects that could potentially turn into something. And we don't have a lot. But let me know in the comments how you feel about this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.